Hey guys, it's Graveyard Graham. Welcome back to the Midnight Ride. My voice is mostly back, and last week was pretty freaking miserable. And a lot of catching up to do. I managed to get one book review out on the main channel. Whatevs. Other than that, we were laid up all week with The Crud in House Bradley. So here is a whole lot of catching up to do. Boy howdy, we lost Gene Hackman last week and his wife Betsy. And unfortunately, I think the verdict is still out on how it happened. I guess police haven't ruled out foul play, but supposedly they were at home in New Mexico and something happened, and the police got a welfare check, and they came by, and they were both deceased in the home along with one of their dogs. And just a sad thing to hear about an acting legend like him going out that way. Like one of the true all-time greats. He was 95. He'd had a career that ran for, he retired 20 years ago, and he'd been around for 40 years at that point, 45, maybe longer. I don't know. It's just insane. Incredible talent. He's been in countless great movies. I just watched Crimson Tide a few months ago for the first time, and I reviewed that here, I believe. So, R.I.P. to him and to the missus. I believe I read in the article that she was a singer, but I'm unfamiliar with any of her work. We also lost Michelle Trachtenberg, which hit a little bit closer to home for me because she's about my age. I'll always remember, growing up in the 90s and having cable, we didn't have cable all throughout, but we became Nickelodeon kids about midway through the 90s, and she was one of those actors who was always on some Nickelodeon show or other, and then they did that Harriet the Spy movie in 96. And I remember that because that was the first movie I ever went to the theater and saw by myself. I wanted to see it that summer. We were building a home in Henderson, Nevada, and while the home was under construction, we were living in a trailer on the site, and there wasn't a whole lot to do. So, Mom was fine with getting us out of the house from time to time. And, excuse me, I wanted to go see that movie, and so she just dropped me off at the theater for an hour and a half, and I watched this movie about this girl running around who was writing stuff down and wanted to be a writer, and hey, that spoke to me on some level, and went and saw it again the next day with a couple of friends, and since then she's just always one of those actresses that whenever she popped up in something, is like, oh hey, yeah, I remember her. 39 years old, and if I read right in the article, she had complications from a liver transaction. What the hell am I trying to say? Transplant. Life is dealing you a tough hand if you've got to have a liver transplant in your 30s. So, prayers up for her and for her family. I don't look a whole lot into the private lives of celebrities. I think she was married and had kids. I don't know. There are people that loved her and knew her and are going to be missing her. So, R.I.P. to Michelle Trachtenberg, to Harriet the Spy, among the other many roles that she had. She was also a voice actor. I remember she was on Robot Chicken a couple of times. Anyway, what else? Well, excuse me. I signed up again for Disney Plus. I figured I would have that for the next couple of months. The new Daredevil show starts this week. Episode 4 of Reacher dropped. That was good. It's carrying the pacing really well, and it's reliably exciting, which is nice. My wife made me watch another episode of Doctor Who. This is the first episode that I watched. I was like, what the hell is this show, babe? She just kind of laughed when I said that. There's a two-parter in season 1, the Christopher Eccleston season, that's what we're still on, called World War III. And these aliens come to Earth, and they're trying to trigger a nuclear apocalypse so that they can, basically sell off Earth in a real estate scheme, like a very Lex Luthor type real estate scheme. Speaking of the late great Gene Hackman, but the creature design on these aliens was like they're these big green unwieldy things that wear human skin, and they've got to compress themselves down to fit inside it, and it makes them fart a lot. And then their weakness is vinegar. You throw vinegar on them and they explode in like very bad TV quality manure. Like when that happened, I was just like, this is so bad. And she goes, yeah, some of the stories and effects weren't great in season one, but they get better. It's like, yeah, no, I've seen later episodes. They get better. They're just, that was a rough one to sit through. And we, excuse me, I'm going to be coughing for the next couple of weeks. I just know it. My brother had this crud like 2 weeks ago and said that it lingers. So, blah. We caught up on Fallout episode 6 of season 6 of Smallville, not the Fallout TV show. I haven't played too much more of the Fallout New Vegas game. I haven't been putting a whole lot of time into that, but the Fallout episode of season 6 of Smallville was it was half good. Like there are 2 or 3 storylines going on, that, or at least the A story and the B story in any episode. The A story was cool. The B story was dumb. Smallville's version of Jimmy Olsen is kind of stupid. I'll just leave it at that. But as for, well, I mentioned Fallout. In the larger perspective of me, like, you know, playing games or anything, I was talking to Kenny Parrish about this earlier today, and I've been locked in for the last couple of months on a whole lot of things, and it feels really good. I haven't been doing as much drawing as I wanted to this year, but I've definitely been doing as much writing as I wanted to, and now that it's March, I am 100% full steam ahead, whole hog on Answerable Courage as my next writing project. I've got 3 months to get that knocked out and sent off to the publisher, and I am beyond stoked to be doing that. I'll also have a week of vacation in that 3-month window, and that'll help me get some extra time here and there, depending on how well I'm able to kind of stay awake while I'm in the car. But I got Fossil Force sent off, and I've got that proposal that got somewhat accepted by the other publisher, and my weight loss is working really well. Like even without getting sick last week, I was trending in the right direction, and then like the getting sick and losing some extra weight really helped. I'm sure there'll be a bounce back. There always is, but my goal was to lose a certain attainable amount every month all year long, and January went better than February, but I definitely came in under the limit at the end of February, and now I just need to maintain some of that loss for March. And if I keep picking at it, then in the next, by the end of the year, I'll be sitting pretty. So things overall are moving in the right direction. That is not to say that they are easy or without their stresses. I'm trying to vent less about work on here and not give out too many details about that. Last week just sucked at work. I'll leave it at that. And, that's with me only having been there 3 days, because I missed 2 from being sick, and I was still sick for the other 2, but I didn't want to burn up all my sick days. Anyway, it's all just a fancy way of saying that I've gotten more comfortable with the grind, and I'm more pleased with my production, and things are going well and getting better and looking up. So this week I should find some time to watch some of those new Daredevil episodes and see how they are. Since the last time I got rid of Disney Plus, which was almost 2 years ago, since then they've acquired Hulu, so there's a whole bunch of Hulu shows on there, and that includes like the whole 20th Century Fox catalog. They've got all the Alien movies and the Predator movies, and I haven't seen all of those, so maybe I'll make it a thing to watch some of those and report back on them here and share my thoughts. But anyway, I'm almost to work, so that is the end of the midnight ride and the update. A bit scattered, but we're getting back on the horse this week after the entire family being laid up and sick for the last 2 weeks, taking our turns doing it. But we're getting back at it. Hopefully my voice and my breathing will be back to 100 by Friday. Let you know how it goes. Drive safe. See you out there.